Continuing the discussion in terms of worker safety, I want to talk a little bit about the NEC changes regarding arc flash hazard on equipment. Chad, what are your thoughts here?
So the new section 110.16b included revisions that apply to arc flash hazard warning labels on feeder and service equipment for 1,000 amps or greater equipment. Toby, can you explain how this differentiates between what the general hazard requirement 110.16a?
Yeah, I think it's important to note that the general arc flash labeling that comes provided by the manufacturer, this is above and beyond this. This is more system specific for your installation. And again, this is showing that the original installation is extremely important and ties along with 70B and 70E. But as far as that label goes, Kyle, can you explain what that label needs?
Yeah, so 110.16a is really the general manufacturer installed label stating that there's an arc flash warrant or arc flash hazard present. The 110.16b requirement is that label that requires specific information. The label now required to have available fault current, the clearing time of the overcurrent device, nominal system voltage, and then the date that it was installed. And we first saw this in the 2020 for service equipment, and now that's expanding. The information on that label specifically relates to NFPA 70E, and another example of supporting that safety standard through requirements. That information that is required allows the user, the technician, to be able to apply the table method in 70E to select the appropriate arc flash PPE and do the job safely when necessary.
Yeah, as we look at this requirement in total, it expands beyond the service equipment to feeder equipment. So that's sort of one of the big changes we don't want to lose sight of here. And this alignment, really moving people to 70E in a more straightforward fashion, right? Compliance with industry recommended standards, which is 70 is the one for North America, I think really sets the stage to make sure that whether you can use a table method using the parameter data that you just mentioned, Kyle, or whether you're actually going to do an incident energy calculation. So either path now, your direction to 70E, and then that'll let the standard where those requirements lie dictate what path you take and what the actual marking looks like. I think that this provides insight on where we came from the 2020 NEC to the 2023. And this is an example where simplification is actually better, right?
Yeah, the evolution here was kind of natural, right? We started with service equipment. The arc flash hazard doesn't just exist at service equipment, so expanding that to feeders as well makes perfect sense. An additional, from a risk management standpoint, it now expanding this as an installation requirement provides, again, it increases worker safety and allows individuals to continue to protect themselves when they're working on these hazardous equipment and situations. Just another example of how 70E and NEC are working together this cycle.
Toby, what are your thoughts here?
I think it's really important to have this labeling, especially with the date and the incident energy. So when you go to work on a system to modify it, maybe you're adding a circuit or something like that, a motor, you could be actually increasing the arc fault hazard at that location. And I think it's going to be good for the AHJs too to say, hey, you need to update your arc flash study as well.
Yeah, Toby, you brought up a great point. The date of the label, and this ties into that requirement for qualified maintenance and service individuals. Somebody that's qualified is going to identify that label is out of date and know that they need to ask some questions before they start performing maintenance on equipment while it's energized.